What is up, LC heads? That's right, it's an important time in Last Cloudia right now because it is officially the morning after. Yes, I did say it, it is the morning after. Go out and get your morning after pill before it's too late. But in all seriousness, it is the morning after a collab character just launched. A collab character we had many questions about. Were they going to fix him? Are they going to make him better? Are they going to make him worse? Is he going to be a whole different type of character? How does he scale? What are they doing? So some of those questions have been somewhat answered. Now, people are running this character right now, trying to figure out exactly how much power this character holds. And it's no surprise to me that a couple people have already came back and said, well, he's not breaking the game or anything. And I want to address that. I also want to address a mistake that I made yesterday when, covering this character 20 minutes out of the box. We'll get to that. What I'm saying is, when we look at these characters, when they have a very specific job, like this guy's a DPS character, they become pretty easy to test because you're going to test his damage against, what the standard is, against what you think is the highest damage. And it's pretty easy to compare those numbers. Okay, it's actually a little bit harder than I'm making it sound because multiple hit combos and all that good stuff, right? I never thought that this character was going to be absolutely top tier damage. I didn't even think it was possible. And I'll tell you guys why. Because not only would that break the game, that would break your phone. Okay? So after running this character all of yesterday, getting to the meat and potatoes of the damn thing, I realized that this character is the result of, how do I put this? Sheeta had a baby with Lightning Bolt Sevia. Oh, I'm sorry. Sheeta had a baby with Lightning Bolt Sevia while Lightning Bolt Sevia had her paid gear on. There. And they forgot to get a morning after pill. And here comes little Rimuru. And the reason I'm using Sheeta as an example here is because of how hard Sheeta is to effing kill. Okay? He has that... It's one ability in particular, I do believe. It's not an ability that we can teach or learn yet. It would be pretty ridiculous if it was. I remember this thing wasn't like it's not a spell. It is... I wish there was a way to just look up. By the way, this is my Sheeta build. This is what mine's looking like. And now that I think about it, it's probably at the very top. It is one of these abilities that this guy has that keeps bringing him back into the damn fight. And I want to actually look it up. Auto heal. I just wanted to make sure. Upon coming close to death, automatically 30 MP to greatly recover hit points. The thing about auto heal is it seems to kind of like reset upon coming close to death. So if you become close to death, this thing will heal you. It doesn't just say once per wave, right? As long as you have MP for this, it's going to greatly recover your hit points and bring you back up to full, right? And then as soon as, you take some more damage and as soon as you're getting close to death again, this should proc again if you give it enough time, right? Something that I realized about Sheeta very quickly is he is very hard to kill. He does great damage. He's locked into one element. But he is very difficult to kill. Diablos, does that have anything to do with it? Nope. Just making sure I'm giving the proper amount of credit to that auto heal ability. Yep. Death God's not going to do anything. Imaginary weapon. Yeah, he is a pretty awesome weapons master. Unless I somehow skipped it or missed it, which I don't think I did. It's that auto heal ability. Sheeta has it. Just from that alone, that makes Sheeta just annoying to kill. Makes Sheeta annoying to kill. And let's remember folks, Sheeta's locked in too dark. He's locked into dark damage. Being locked into one element and being non-elemental damage is a whole different rigmarole. There we go. Which actually kind of gets me to, I think, the mistake that I made yesterday. We'll go over that. But here's Rimuru now. Rimuru! He's at 108 out of 108. So I have a pretty decent idea of, halfway what he's like. He's only level 62, but, whatevs. Morning after. And I do believe he also has auto heal. It's got to be here. I want to make sure that it's here before I say that it's here. I could have sworn Gale Force he has, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah, auto heal. Just having auto heal will make you annoying to kill, right? It's something that we picked up on Sheeta very quickly. He just keeps coming back and coming back. Well, Rimuru has that too, but this affects him greatly, much more greatly than Sheeta. Because this guy heals himself. I've already been talking about how this is, the first good vampire that this game is dropping. A vampire doesn't have to do the most damage in the game because he's going to be able to do sustained damage. If he can keep himself alive, he can keep dishing out damage, even if it's less than, somebody that does a ton of damage, but then they die, right? So it's the difference between just damage per second and sustained damage. And obviously one's going to be better than the other when you're fighting against the clock, right? And one's going to be better when you're fighting with the clock and the clock doesn't matter and you can take your time. Regardless, this guy having that auto heal ability and being able to heal with gluttony and being able to heal himself with his S4 just makes him such a nuisance to deal with, right? As soon as you start getting him weak, he's going to get that auto heal. But on top of that, we're talking about a character that is known for having awesome elemental resistances. This guy's not even developed yet, right? What do we got? Like 35, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 resistance on him right now. I don't have any shields on him. I haven't tweaked anything. And he's not wearing an accessory right now because the accessory that I have is just for experience. It doesn't do anything else. The point being is this guy has great resistances. He's going to be taking less damage. And he's able to heal himself. And I really like the way that the black hole works. You can see damage coming and you can be like, oh, black hole. Because once you drop that S2 and the black hole is created, it's going to do its thing and it's going to heal you, even if you're sitting there taking damage. I have kind of used that to soften the blow of like a threshold that was about to drop, and I'm like, oh, here, I'll throw a black hole up, and sure enough, it does start healing me while I'm taking damage. So it's pretty cool, right? And then we have, of course, the S4. Right, powerful combo attack on all enemies, restore hit points to all allies. So nice, so simple, so sweet. So sweet. He heals everybody off of that, and he's going to heal himself with his S2. For the record, do you know how much paid gear Thunderbolt Sevia took to be able to heal the party up like half as much as this guy does? Because remember, Thunderbolt Sevia has to use an S3 for everyone to catch a heal. And S3s don't drop as fast as S2s. So just the fact that he can sustain himself off the S2, that black hole is going to be dropping all the time constantly. This guy's just going to be a nightmare to kill, I think. Especially if you get his resistances up, especially going into certain fights. And to complement this, he does have an ability here, revive all allies with 100% hit points once per quest. That's pretty awesome if you're really using him for that. It's also very easy to get your stats up super high when you have abilities that are like, oh, when one of your allies dies, you get plus 30% strength buff. Cool. Bring some stuff like that and bring a sacrificial lamb. You know, and when your party gets wiped, you get all these buffs and you bring them back to life, right? So that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I like that. They also gave this guy some kind of potion ability, so he has like a god heal pretty much. I haven't got to test them head to head, but the way that I'm looking at it, with them giving him a robe in the paid shop, this robe that they have, it kind of looks like supporter's gear. It's going to give him MP regen. It's going to, I think, give him 10% more hit points, because that just makes this guy so much harder to kill. Yeah. So it's just like one of those things where we're going to have to see how this guy actually plays when he's fully built. I don't think he's going to be up there doing the highest amount of damage in the game, like I said right now, because that would just break it. It just wouldn't be fair when you have other characters that have to be glass cannons to get to the, you know, the tippy top of doing damage like that. And this guy comes in and he's like, yeah, I can do a little bit more. Oh yeah, and I'm unkillable. Like, you don't think that pushes you over the edge a little bit? So that's just kind of how I'm looking at him. I was even shocked with his basic attack. I thought it was, you know, something a little bit better than a typical basic attack. I don't know. It looked like he's a good working functional character. I think they did right by him. They made everything much easier for him. You no longer have to balance spells and your ability kit in order to power your spells up and, you know, get your percentage to damage or whatever. I think they've done a great job there. I think you could potentially use this guy for some support and healing and stuff. They do give him that healing spell, right? And he's obviously super awesome at keeping himself healed. So I think the mistake that I made with him is the Rising Star. It's no attribute damage plus 40% and damage cap 6,000. That's just always on, okay? But when enemies has a specific attribute weakness, the skill damage is plus 30% and damage cap 4,000. And obviously this goes up. So when I was talking about this yesterday, I was trying to talk about like the pro of having it set up like this, of like you being able to do, you know, non-elemental damage, but then when somebody actually has a weakness that coincides to the element that it looks like you're using, then bam, you know, you're going to get to do extra damage to them and, you know, bank off their weakness. I shouldn't have said bank off their weakness, because you're not actually using their weakness, okay? Because when enemy has a specific attribute weakness, so you're not using their weakness, but when they have a negative value at all, you're going to get a nice bonus to your damage. And just the 40% or 30%, 30% damage to bonus is awesome. And this isn't fully leveled. That is the equivalent to the enemy having a minus 30 resistance, right? So this gives him a way to boost his damage with a nice percentage cap, just based off of what's going on. And if you can, you know, see what enemies are weak to, right? But it's also very easy to activate. There's an ease of use there, which is just awesome. It's easy to activate this because all you have to do is get the enemy to a negative value. And you can just get them to -1, right? Even if you can just get them to -1, boom, you're doing, you know, 30, 40% more damage to them now. And that's what I think is kind of cool, because all you have to do is bring Giga Weaken, so, or just Weaken, because that's 10% to everything, right? And most things that we fight aren't going to have many resistances to everything. We might fight some kind of fire golem that has a fire resistance, but everything else about it is pretty much going to be around the 0 mark. You know, so just throwing a weaken on an enemy like that, sure, he might go down from 40 fire resistance to 30 fire resistance, but his light and dark resistance are going to drop to a negative value. So now your S2 and your S3 are going to do 30, 40% more damage to that golem. So you're never actually using their weakness. It's just the fact that they are weak, So that is applying a damage boost to you. But like I said, the damage boost is pretty damn good. 30-40% is awesome. Like I said, that's the equivalent of your enemy having minus 30 or 40 resistance. And that's, you know, so very easy to activate that and get a bonus for at least part of your kit, I would think. I mean, how many things are we going to fight that have a super high resistance to fire, light, and dark? And you know what? If they do, you don't have to worry about it because you're doing non-elemental damage anyway, right? They're pretty much, you know, characters like that have a high resistance in all three of those. Okay, they can shield themselves from your extra 30 or 40% damage from your trait. They're not going to be able to shield themselves from the rest of your damage. You are doing non-elemental damage that is super useful to have. It's always going to be applicable. So yeah, it is what it is. And pretty much when I was talking about it yesterday, I was talking about the wrong way. I don't want to, you know, have anyone think that I was saying that you actually are going to get to use their weakness if you hit with fire with the S1. No, as long as the enemy is weak to fire, as long as he has any sort of negative value there at all, you're going to get your plus set value bonus attack. I think that's really nice. I do. I think it's really nice because, like I said, I think it's going to be easy to proc between weaken and what else do I have on him? Gaze of the End is 9 SC. It's 9 SC, but everybody's going to have a minus 10 to all their resistances right off rip. And then I can throw a weaken on top of that. Everyone can have minus 20 to all their resistances, like right off rip. And if you have minus 20 to everything, you're probably going to have a negative value for fire, dark, and light. At least 2 out of 3 of them. And that's going to get me, you know, 40% more damage for a few of my abilities that I'm going to throw. That's just kind of, I've just been playing around with things. Obviously, Gaze of the End is expensive, 9 SC. So I could take that off and maybe just bring Weaken instead. And this is just something that I've been doing, you know, while I've been solo running him. He is a blast to solo run because he heals himself. So you can work your way through levels. You can play it smart. Dodge out on the big attacks, target mobs, and heal up. It's pretty cool. He doesn't need a healer running around right behind him, so I've been having fun. So I'm just showing you guys what I've been working on with him. The Gaze of the End, not everybody's going to have that because it's from a limited arc, I believe. But it's pretty basic stuff. Really, you just want to keep this guy's skill kit charged because that's where all the damage and all the good stuff that, you know, he's doing is coming from. It's nice and simple now. He's not going to come with any combat spells to cast, thank goodness. I always thought they shafted him there just because, well, I mean, he might have gotten some sort of boost to spell damage if he worked at it and used his sorry kit. The thing is, he never got any really good spells. He never got any of the super high tier spells. So it was just kind of like meh. Hold on. Damn. Sorry guys. Had to use my new breathing machine. Holy shit. All right. So yeah, this is where mine's at. Nothing special, but I'm just telling you guys what I've actually noticed about this guy as a character after running him a couple of days. That's the conclusion that I come to. I don't think he's going to make a lot of people's list for a #1 powerful character. So if anybody's hoping for that, you know, I think they balanced him really well. I think he is super powerful because I'm actually factoring in his healing ability and how nasty he is to kill. So if that's something that's interesting for you, if you want a character like that, I think this guy's an awesome character just because he's a good, you know, top tier functioning vampire in this game. So that's cool. We've been waiting for one of those. And it's just fun to go around and heal yourself off of the S2 that you're throwing. And then let's see. On top of that, he has the damage from attributes minus 5%. So he has a mini, what's it called? We have this ability where when you're taking damage, hit after hit, each time it hits you, you're getting a reduction to it. Anti-chain damage? Man, I was actually thinking, yeah, it was anti-chain damage. I'm thinking about trying to run this with him. Right, when taking a combo attack, reduces damage as hits increase. At 50 hits, you're taking 50% of the damage. So stuff like that might be able to stack with this trait where it's kind of doing the same thing. Right, when taking attribute damage, chance to cut damage from the attribute minus 5% per hit, max of minus 25%. Resets each wave. So per hit means it's going to go 5, 10, 15, so you're going to take less and less damage. And all this stuff obviously has to be tried, and to see if any of it actually even stacks together. But building him for the most part is easy. You're just going to go for the sword boosts and stuff like that are going to increase his damage and his strength. Pretty much you're looking for anything that doesn't have anything to do with elements. Okay, so like no weak point boost, nothing that uses elements or weaknesses or targets any of that. We're just going to want no attribute attack rise is the one that you have to get for him. It is on one of our arcs. It's gettable. I don't think this was a limited arc. I think this might have been Balin's arc. Regardless, pretty simple to get that. That's like the starter kit. And then from there, you can build him how you want. Now, what I've realized right off rip is abilities like Ardor, right, and Pride, man, he takes huge advantage of these, right? Like Pride is a 20% strength increase for only 4 SC. The reason it's so cheap is because you're only getting it at max hit points. But what if you have a character that's continuously healing themselves with more than just Proud Force and Blood Force? Their S2 is healing them all the time and keeping them at full health. Their special is healing them and everybody else and keeping them at full health. Well, then you have somebody that can really take advantage of Pride and have, this 20% strength bonus pretty much all the time as long as they're healed up. There's also Ardor. That's a 10% to your crit rate at max hit points. I honestly just think things like this are a must for him just because he's always going to stay at full health. Just with Proud Force. With Proud Force alone and the hit counts that you're going to be getting from this guy, he's going to be getting all sorts of little heals just from Proud Force. Then you factor in that S2 and that special. And that's without having Blood Force on him and not even talking about like his basic attack or anything. So yeah, he can for 8 SC to get 10% to your crit and 20% to your strength is absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of heroes don't really use this much because their battle's gonna start. They might catch a nick or a scratch there and they're not going to be at full health, and most heroes have no problem with that. But this guy, I think you would be wise to take advantage of simple things like that. Now, I haven't tested Berserk out on him yet, and these abilities that continuously do damage to you, I don't know if you can stay at full health if you have Berserk. If anybody can pull it off, it's probably this guy. So I'm still testing all of that. Obviously, if I put Berserk on him and Spirit of Ifrit, if he can't stay at full health, then I might as well take Ardor and Pride off of him. But for now, that's putting in a lot of work for him. Like his attack was going up from like 2,000 to 3,000 or something stupid when I was just kind of running him around. I'd wait till after he took a couple of hits, and I would check my stats, and then I would drop my S2 and get my health back to full instantly. I would check my stats again, and it was just a huge difference that I was getting. I was just looking at the attack stat, obviously, but I know my crit was going through the roof too, and it shows, right? Because with the special that I was dropping, I was doing like, it was a god tier level. I was doing like 3,000 damage per hit, and then I would drop the S2, and I would get to full health, and then I would drop my special again, and this time I'd be doing 5,000 or 6,000 damage. So it's from 4,000 to 6,000 damage. That's a pretty nice increase right there, just from being at full health. So when I'm running mine, like before I drop any big ass finishers, or I'm about to spam my S3, I better make sure that I'm at full health before I do that, because that's going to give me an extra 1,000 attack, and my crit's going to go through the roof. And then that S3, you're going to get a lot more out of it. So, but that's just how I've been playing him. If I've missed anything, leave me a comment, right? I'm sure there's stuff here I didn't talk about. There's a lot of different things that I want to try here myself. And pretty much I just did nothing yesterday but run this guy enough to teach all these abilities onto him. So this is what I ended up with. And I'm obviously going with like some crit up here. See, because he only has crit and crit 2. So that extra 10% to his crit at full health, like that's a big deal. Because if not, I don't know if I would invest 6SC into the advanced aim vitals. I will say though, when he's at full health, he crits like a mug all over the place. So this works out surprisingly well. I just got like some attack up and some hit points, just some simple stuff like that. Again, I haven't even messed around with like doing the whole purple orb thing and apple pie. He doesn't even know apple pie yet. So I still have to teach him an apple pie ability, and just see what all I can do with that. There's also sharp eyes to throw on him, or just to give him something to do with his MP if I'm not saving it all for auto heal or whatever that's called. So there's still things I need to teach him, and there's still things that I want to try for sure. But this is what mine's looking like so far, and he has a blast to run. I gave him the virtuous contract. Because regular attacks have a chance to deal extra damage, and strength plus 20% at maximum hit points. His attack literally was going up like damn near 1,000, right? Because when you add 20% from this and 20% from that, and 10% crit, that's why I ended up going with the sword. They didn't make paid weapons for him, I think, because we have so many non-elemental weapon options, and it just works out great for him. So I can kind of see what they did. I also gave him the Imperial Flag of Honor, just because it has attack and it's giving some intelligence. From my understanding, he is attack based, but your intelligence will still strengthen your attack because he has phase change. Is that what it's called? Pretty much, it's gonna give you a little bit more attack based off of your intelligence. So it's cool. He has that built in. It's like a 12 SC ability if you want to just put it on another character. So that's why I figure this is giving him 151 attack strength, and with that 163 intelligence, that's gotta help his strength as well. And this is also giving 158 mind, right? So it's kind of like having a robe on, half a robe. This is a 7-star item, obviously, and the big thing is apply a physical/magical attack damage plus 20% buff to all allies. That's when the fight starts. That really helps. For accessory 1, I do have his actual paid accessory. It's 80 attack, which is nice, at 47 defense. No attribute attack damage cap plus 1,000. Hey, gotta love any damage cap we can get. And damage plus 10% and continuous brave effect. This is why I didn't use any SC for any brave-like effects. He already has a brave effect on him if you have his coat, which is an accessory. His other item was an armor, and that's what gave, 10% hit points. It gave MP regen, and what was the other thing? The point being is, I don't think the items were super brutal overpowered this time. Compare these paid items to the pink Power Rangers that we just had. Hers had plus 20% SCT recovery speed and plus 10% damage and damage cap. Yeah, it did. I'm pretty sure it did, right? Like, compare that to this. Like, okay, damage plus 10%, cool. Brave, damage cap 1,000, okay. Compared to her 20% SCT recovery speed, which is just pretty much as good as all of this by itself, and then 10% more damage, and then some damage. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but these seem fair. You don't necessarily need his items, so that's cool. Anybody that gets lucky and pulls this character right off rip, you might not have to go in and pay to get items for this guy. And obviously for accessory too, I just have an experience necklace on. A rabbite. Yeah, that's right. And it doesn't do anything but give me more experience. Which obviously hasn't been working that good because he's only level 62. So that's what I think about this guy in a nutshell. I think that a lot of people, they just look at, well, how much damage can I do and how fast can I clear the screen? And if I can't beat this time, it's all for nothing. You just gotta actually look at this guy for the character he is. I mean, he's even dressed in all black. He's a demon lord. He's like the first good functioning high tier vampire that we've had in Last Cloudia. I'm psyched just because of that. And he does some fun little things like, his buff to everybody, 10% to all your main stats, is nice. And monsters are getting 30%. So, that's cool. I was running my little monster robot with him. Whatevs. The point is, the moral of the story, for anybody that was waiting to see what was going to happen with this character, or to wait for the part 2 of this banner, the character's out. He is a good character. You still might want to wait, though, and actually see what's going on with Millum. Last time, Millum was the powerhouse. This time, at least, Rimuru, not even at least, I'm not even going to say at least, Rimuru's awesome. Like, this time, Rimuru is an awesome, powerful character. He's a contender, and he's different because he's a freaking vampire. And he's going to be, taking a page from Sheeta's book. He's going to be doing, his AoEs and stuff. You guys have been seeing me use his kit. They're fun, and they're great crowd control, and it's just like him throwing nasty little spells left and right. You just have to charge his kit, right? And then, great hit count with dual wield, non-elemental damage, and he's easy to do. Right, he's easy to use. You're using S1 through S4. You don't have to really meddle with any spells. That's just the way that I've been running him. Now, you can try to, use him more for support. He could kind of act like a healer, right? As long as he managed to survive, which, like I said, he probably would survive some kind of big nuke, because he has a bunch of resistances, and, there's a reason why they put plus 10% hit points on his robe, his paid robe. I think the more hit points this guy has, the more he can do. He can just be really, really nasty with hit points, just like Sheeta can, right? Because it becomes really hard to kill Sheeta as long as that damn auto heal keeps proccing. So just something to factor in there. He has that ability that is super awesome. Nobody else, to my knowledge, has that auto heal ability that has as much self-sustain and healing as this character has. So it's going to make for a nasty combo. I can already tell you that right now. He might be able to cheese some boss fight just off of him not being able to die, as opposed to, you know, doing a shit ton of damage instead. So it's kind of one of those things. So if you're interested in having just this awesome character that is a sweet vampire, that's what's up right now. Like I said, I would still wait for Millum. She looks absolutely amazing. She has the dragon wings. Can't wait to see what they've done with her, because if they upgrade her the same amount that they upgraded Rimuru from last time, then she will break the damn game. Well, I mean, and I'm saying that is because Rimuru had a lot of catching up to do. It feels like as soon as they released him, he was already obsolete, like coming in with like weak spells, and it was just kind of like, you got this guy because he's a fan favorite and you're a fan and you enjoy this character. That was really the only way I could see, and it shows. That's why I stopped working on him instantly, right? Like, it's, you know, it's been a long time, and Rimuru has just been sitting there collecting dust. So that's not the case now. I will be running him around because, well, I like the little solo fights. He gets into some desperate spots, and then he manages to fight his way out of it and heal himself back up, and it's just fun to manipulate his hit points like that. So that's where I'm gonna cut it off. That's how I feel the morning after. I do not feel disappointed with pulling this character at all. Very happy about it. And I'm just concentrating on saving for Millum, because that's the one that's going to dodge me, damn it. I can tell you right now, I could do 500 pulls and she won't come down now just because Rimuru came down so easily. So might have shot myself in the foot here. But no, he is an awesome character. Really enjoy it. And I didn't think that I would so much. Yeah, that's the best way to say that, I guess. I didn't think I would enjoy Rimuru so much, because I was like, oh, what can they really do with him? If they stick to the format, if they try to just keep this but fix it, it's just going to end up terrible. And I think they realize that, and that is why they've just completely remade him. Again, so glad that he's not doing this hybrid spell casting and attack back and forth crap where you're trying to stack something up to, you know, get more damage out of a spell. I think what they've done is much, much better and much better representative of this character. I mean, he feels so much more resilient now, just like a little slime would with these resistances. We're just going to have to see how he runs. But it was cool to see him bring back a party to life for me. It does work. Everybody dies around this guy. He makes them just stand right back up. So he could be a fun option to run with some kind of glass cannon party. And even some glass cannon chick rocking that armor that like applies a plus 20% damage taken debuff to whoever kills that character. Like, that would be cool, because with Rimuru there, she could just come right back to life right there, and you could have that awesome debuff up on the boss. They're taking 20% more damage, and power counter is going to give Rimuru like 30% more to his strength when somebody dies, you know, and if he brings them right back to life, he's going to have that damn buff on him anyway, and, you know, it's going to be way better off. So effectively, he can really take advantage of some abilities, and I think I've pointed some of those out. Obviously, the ones that proc when you're at full health, and you can get a lot out of them for only a little bit of SC, so that's always cool. And we will just have to see how this guy does, but he's got a thumbs up for me. I think he's absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to see what they've done with part 2, because baby girl has wings, and I don't know, she just looks good. So I will see you all on the flip side. Hope you enjoy. Later, everybody.